Yeah.
That's like also weird because like obviously I went to a different school.
Yeah.
So it was like completely different.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Standard form. We've learned what standard form means. It means the highest power first, right? So, yesterday I heard people go, I don't know what the vertex form is. So I didn't blatantly tell you because it was the only form we had, but that's when we have y equals 3, I don't know, x plus 2 squared plus 5. This is called the vertex form because the vertex is just sitting right there, right? The vertex is negative 2, 5. So that's the form we learned first. Now we need to learn standard form, and we got to be able to go from one to the other. Standard form is going to look something like this. Okay, if we were to come up with an example of it, it might be like y equals 2x squared plus 7x plus 9, something like that. Yeah.
Did you mean to put -2 on the?
Yes. Why is that negative?
Because a negative and a negative is positive.
No, because you do the opposite.
Oh yeah, it's opposite.
Yeah, when you're with your x, you do the opposite, right? Your x says turn right and you turn left. Okay. But good question. Okay. So I don't know. Explain to me the difference between this one and this one. There's certain language I'm hoping you say, Brody. The exponent's first. How do you think we go from this form, the vertex form, to the standard form, Brody? Exactly right. Yeah, Parker? Distribute. We got to multiply things out. Now, order of operations. I heard distribute. Can I distribute this 2 into these parentheses? No. Why not? What does the order of operations say? Do the exponent first, right? Parenthesis, then exponent. So what we have to do is we have to go 2. And what did I tell you when we have this squared if we want to multiply it out?
You just do it.
You just do it. What did I just do here?
Made 2 of them.
You want to make 2 of them, okay? So that we can FOIL this, right? So I'm going to multiply this out. This 2 is just going to be there. We get x squared minus 1x minus 1x plus 1.
Oh, you have to. So you can't like just put the 2. Oh, so we're kind of going back to one. You can't just make it 2x. Why can't you add why can't you just make it x squared plus 1? Sorry, x. So x squared minus 2x plus 1.
Because you're just showing us.
2x squared minus 2x plus 1. When you have your class, you're going to let kids just talk like that? Or you're going to be like, raise your hand.
Okay, but at least I'm saying like, I'm not just talking.
I think it's more collaborative that way.
You like it this way?
I do.
She's going to let you guys talk. That's what she said.
Wait, is she gonna ever teach us like by herself?
Unfortunately, what she does is she watches this period and then she teaches the later period.
What? Who's she teaching?
5, 6, 7. We don't have time for sidebars.
Wait,
So there is the standard form. I multiplied it out. That's what she did say that. I don't want to put her on blast.
Better accelerated class.
Mm-hmm. She said she wanted to teach the harder kids to teach. So I'm going to write that as 2. I'm going to FOIL this. I'm going to leave that -3 on the outside. So I get x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25 minus 3. Distributing that -3. Oh, I want to clean that up first. Sorry. -3 x squared plus 10x I'm going to go ahead and distribute in the -3. I get -3x squared minus 30x minus 75 minus 3, or my final answer is that f of x equals -3x squared minus 30x minus 78. How could we check that this is right? What would we do in Desmos? Type in this one and type in this one, and what should happen? They should be the exact same thing, right? See that they overlap.
One quick question. Do you always do these notes to where, like, pairs for like other classes that don't give us notes like this? So you just take them or
Yeah, most math teachers would write this down, and then you would just write everything they wrote down. You would have your own paper. That's pretty normal.
I just wondered if this helps.
Yeah. I just realized that if I have graphs or something and I print this, it's just so much quicker for everybody. All right, so now we need to put it in vertex form. That means we need to know the what? The vertex. If you want vertex form, you got to know the vertex. If I sang a song, the song would go something like -b over 2a, comma, find. That's kind of like more of a rap, maybe. -b over 2a. Say it with me. -b over 2a. Say it with me. -2 over ba. No. -b over 2a. -b over 2a. -b over 2a. You have to know this. We've talked about what A, B, and C is. What is my A? Where do you think A is in terms of these things? 3. The 3 is my A. 12 is B. 5 is C. -b over 2a. Or -12 over 2 times 3. 2 times 3, -12 divided by 6. 2. So that's the first part of my vertex. What does it say? How do you find the other part of my vertex? You have to find it. How do you think you find it? What value is that? Y. How can we find y if we now know what our x is? You just plug it in. I go to my calculator and I'm going to type in 3. Anywhere I see parentheses or x, I'm going to put parentheses. 3 parentheses -2 squared plus 12 parentheses -2 plus 5, and I get that it's -7. So that's the second part of my vertex. I plugged in -2 into this equation. And I got -2 from that -b over 2a. Now I can say f of x equals, what are the 3 parts to vertex form?
It would be like a parentheses x plus x. Wait, no, like not like the x dot, and then to the second power plus y.
Love it. So can you tell me what we know and what we don't know?
Wouldn't it be like x plus 2?
X plus 2. I'm leaving space here for my a, which I don't know. X plus 2 squared minus 7. What is our a? I already told you what my a is. My a is what? 3. My a is the same as this a. How could we check these? I could type this into Desmos and this into Desmos, and it should be the same graph. Let's try this again. Do you think we could race on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. And if you get stuck, you can peek up here.
So one eye, see one eye,
Yeah, you kind of need a calculator, don't you?
I know.
You can write down. Take a sip of coffee.
Give them time.
You ready?
Wait. That's all I don't know if they did that.
Negative b over 2a.
So is it A, C, and B?
A, 2, or negative.
Wait, do you have to, so it's just 8 over negative 4, so it's just getting
Plus.
So the B is in top.
Oh, shucks.
Look,
I
wait,
got it, I think.
let me explain this brain real quick. I write it down. A, this is A. This is C. B over
I've got it down.
Oh my goodness. I plugged in
I plugged in, I got 6.
negative 2 parentheses, negative 2 squared. Make sure you put those in parentheses.
I still got 6. Squared?
That's not
Oh
very
yeah, on your answer.
Did I make a mistake?
X plus 2 squared.
Oh, wait. I made a mistake?
Like negative
No,
2
I
times
think I
x
know
plus
I
2
did.
squared.
Oh,
plus
thank
one.
you.
It's like, oh my goodness, I made
Good
I got
catch.
22 now. Wait, how was it?
Do you mind peeking at her thing? So fine. So if we were to, this is probably the hardest thing to do, right? So let's write down the steps down here real quick. Find vertex, which is negative b over 2a, comma, find. That's our first step. Step 2 is to plug in y equals a, x minus, and they use a different letter, but I kind of like the idea of using like x1 squared plus y1. Because it's when you put the subscript on here, you're kind of saying that that's an ordered pair. Here, I'll do this, vertex. So if you can find the vertex, basically we're just plugging it in. Again, this is probably the hardest problem we see today. So how to convert this. We okay? Ish?
Oh wait, that was easy.
That was
I
easy?
actually did it.
And so, how do you get the negative 2 is what you're multiplying to get,
So I got this from here,
which is fine. So it would be your A. Your A goes on the outside, right?
and then whatever my A is here
Yeah.
is going to be my A in my answer,
That's what I thought. Okay.
which is kind of nice.
14 would just be
I plugged in negative 2 into this in my calculator,
yeah,
and it gave me 14.
I know it is.
Okay. Factored form. What do you think we have to do to the problem to get it into factor form?
You're gonna have to do you have to make the 2x 2 times. Do it twice. And you have to factor it out.
Just have to factor it. Factor form means just factor it. Is there a GCF here?
No.
No, that means we have to do what?
X box.
Xbox. Negative 14, negative 12. Times the 14, but adds the negative 12. Is this a bad problem?
I don't know if that's right.
How did you get negative?
I don't
This is my AC, right?
have a negative top and a negative
Yeah. Negative 14 is 1 and 14, 2 and 7, What's that?
That has to be negative.
Yeah. I think this is a bad problem. Okay. Factor this one. That's weird. That's the first mistake I've ever made in my life.
Ever.
What? I what?
Prime.
Prime. It is prime. But here's the thing. We wouldn't say prime for this because they're asking you to put it in factor form. I wouldn't ask you to put it in factor form if you couldn't do it. Does that make sense? Well, okay. I'm not. I wrote a bad problem. Okay. This one we want to say again.
Negative 6 and 4.
Okay. So y equals x minus 6, x minus 4. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. That can't be right. Negative 20.
Negative 6, 4.
Oh, my bad. Negative 2, we do that. We realize it's negative 6 and 4. We should have done this first. Those are our numbers. Why are we allowed to just do the x and no box?
Because A is 1.
A is 1. So factored form just means factor. I was a little bit sad when I graded the last test, or when Miss Holloy graded the test, because some of us didn't know how to factor. And that's like, you're going to do that for the rest of your life. And in this chapter, it's like yeah. Maybe I should double check it.
Mine?
Yeah.
You should.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
You probably missed the problem. I think I got like a 96.
If it's in standard form, how do we find these certain things? How do we find our vertex? Well, that's negative b over 2a, comma, find. Meaning plug it in.
I have a quick question for the negative b. So if it's that the problem we just did, like above this one, where it's like the y equals negative 2x. For the negative 8, if it's a negative,
Because it was a
positive, you have to make it a negative.
because it was I went ahead and I wrote negative.
Yeah, I thought you
Negative
did
b was a positive.
positive.
Yep, good call. Y-intercept. Y-intercept is C. Y-intercept is when x equals 0. If I plug in 0 here and 0 here, what happens to those two parts? There's 0, so what's left over is C. That's our y-intercept. That's kind of the nicest thing about this. Axis of symmetry. It'd be x equals whatever our x value is in our vertex, negative b over 2a.
What's the axis of symmetry?
Is the line
It goes like down the middle.
that cuts it in half. And we say x equals because it's going to be x equals like, I don't know, 3, because that's going to be the value of our vertex.
Yeah, because the bottom. It's like just the x.
Yeah, it's what, how would I cut this in half?
So we just started, we already did, we had the, okay, so like one B off the top, we already found the x by doing.
Yes, we found it. Essentially, we have it here. I'm just saying it's the same thing. We wouldn't try to find it again. So find all this stuff given it in standard form. The vertex, axis of symmetry, the y-intercept, and then sketch it. Okay. We're gonna write small. So we need to find, basically you get a question, you gotta find the vertex. It's all about finding the vertex. How do we find the vertex? It's negative b over 2a. So negative, my b here is negative 7. So positive or negative is positive 7 over 2 times 2, which gives me 7 over 4, or 1.75. Pretty ugly, but that's what it is. Comma, I need to figure out what the other part is. And really from the vertex, I can figure out pretty much everything else. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go 2 parentheses 1.75 squared minus 7 parenthesis 1.75 minus 4, and you get this awesome ugly number of negative 10.125. And there's my vertex. I've done one step, find the vertex. If we wanted to, I could now say my axis of symmetry. Yep. Now be careful. It's a equation. It's x equals, because x equals means the line that goes through that. So I got that done. My y-intercept is negative 4, because I plug in 0 here and here, and all that's left is that c. Sketch a graph. What's the most important part on this graph that I'm going to sketch?
Where the U is?
Say again.
Where the U at?
Yeah, where the vertex is, where that, okay, so that vertex is 1 point, and I'm going to just kind of even cheat, just go 1.75 is there, negative 10.125 is there. The biggest thing about sketching this graph is which way does it go?
Down.
Why does it go down?
It's a negative.
What's negative?
10.125.
Okay, I agree that that's negative. Do we agree that it goes down? So what does A say?
No, it's just positive.
My A is positive. My A is what defines whether it goes up or down. It's a positive, that means it goes up.
Oh, it's short. Okay, this is how I'm gonna remember. So if it's positive, it's smiling.
Yes,
And if it's a negative, then it's a rainbow. It's been raining.
or it's frowning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wait, Mr. McConnell, can you, so the 2x squared shows if that's positive, the A, if it's positive, yeah, then it's gonna be like a U.
Yep, it's smiling.
And
I like
then
that.
the negative 7x just like shows how much it goes. I'm confused. That shows how much it goes over.
The vertex tells us where the bottom point is, or the top point.
Okay, I was in bottom on top point. Okay.
So we're going to run out of time, so we're going to jump to this one. I said the most important thing to find is the vertex. Once you have the vertex, kind of everything else just kind of happens for you. What is the vertex of this one? Yeah, that's right. -2, -4. Good job. Then I can say what my axis of symmetry is. Is x equals -2. If I just said -2, that's kind of implying a point. X equals -2 is implying a line. Okay. The y-intercept, this is much trickier. How do you find y-intercept?
You have to plug in. You have to plug in. You plug in.
Plug in what?
No, it's -4. We're just plugging -4.
Yeah. So it was -4 when it was in this form, but in this form, it's not going to be that. Yeah. If you multiplied it all out, yes, you could find it. But
What if you just plug in 0 for x?
plug in 0 for x, -3, parenthesis, 0 plus 2
What is it gonna be like -6?
gives me 8. So we just got to know y-intercept is when x equals 0. If I ask for the x-intercept, you would say when y equals 0. Good. And then sketch this graph. So if I have the vertex of -2, -4, again, sketch a graph. I can just kind of dot those points. I don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that. And this graph is going which way?
It's that.
Did I make a mistake somewhere? Because my y-intercept is 8.
It's going down, isn't it?
Oh, I forgot a negative on this.
Negative on what?
Why am I bugged by this?
That's gonna make it. It's gonna make it -16.
So my y-intercept I had is 8, which was up here, but the graph goes which way? Down, right? So that now I know that it's -16. I can draw -16 down here, and I can say that it's going to go through that point. It's easy not to show the. Easy peasy strawberry lemonade. Okay. Jumping because of time. Find all this stuff in this form.
Do we need to refactor it?
I think we need to multiply it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and multiply this out because this is the worst form for figuring that out. We get x squared minus 9x plus 2x minus 18, or x squared minus 7x minus 18. Again, it's all about the vertex. If you know the vertex, the rest of this kind of comes together for you. I'm going to go, we're going to skip this, so I'm going to use the space over here. Negative b over 2a.
I feel like the thing I'm gonna forget is to make it
3.5.
either negative or positive. Like I don't want to put
Yeah.
7.
You can plug in 3.5 into the first equation or the second because we assume that they're the same. Which one do you think is easier?
Second.
Okay. So parenthesis 3.5 squared minus 7 parenthesis 3.5 minus 18. We get negative 30.25. Oh, I did that. Totally put that in the wrong spot. So, oh my goodness. So there's my vertex. Rewrite it. Axis symmetry. X equals 3.5. Y-intercept. I don't know about what. No, yeah. What is the y-intercept?
It's minus 18.
Minus 18. If I plug in 0 here, 0, 0, negative 18. And then to graph this, I kind of like to draw my graphs to scale. So I wouldn't want to make like 3.5 out here and then 30 right there. So I might go like 3.5s here and then put 30 all the way up here. Did I mess up on my y-intercept again?
I think it should be, is it negative 30.25?
Oh, just kidding. Negative there. Thank you.
I was just checking myself.
Yeah, no. So this vertex should be negative down there. So down here, my y-intercept's negative 18, which would be roughly there. And then the graph is smiling because A is positive. Okay, so next part, how can we write an equation given some points? What do we know is true about our graphs? What's true about our graphs? Kind of have to know the nature of our graphs.
The y-intercept is 79.
Okay, yeah, the y-intercept's here. What is the most important thing of these graphs? The vertex. Which of these points is the vertex? We don't really know, but we can figure it out. What's the shape of these graphs? They are what? Okay. I'm going to point out that this and this are very interesting to me. Why?
Oh, because they're the same point, so it's gonna kind of go straight for a second.
Okay. They're the same point. Where would the vertex be if those are the same point?
6,
6, 7.
6.
Why?
Because it's not 0, 7, 9.
Okay. So what I'm looking for, maybe this will help it. If we just do a quick sketch. If I say that this is 5, 9, and we say that this is 7, 9, right? Those are the same points. Where does the vertex have to fall? In the middle. What's in the middle of 5 and 7? 6. So 6, 7 has to be in the middle. Meaning, this has to be the vertex. I guess we do have to sketch a graph of this, so we can just go plot this like that. I just identified my vertex. What's my axis of symmetry? That's right, x equals 6. My y-intercept, someone already told me. 79. If I wanted to, I could even write the equation for this, but we don't have to. Ooh.